It was a very pleasant last week that we had on the market stage. Then, over the weekend, we got a storm in our teacup, and that's the water Onnoghen's suspension and replacement. But of course, we'll talk about that as we get back to the market street. But let's check in with the FX market very quickly, shall we? Ifueko Lotu for Access Bank. It's an FX dealer. It's live to us from the FMDQ exchange place in downtown Lagos. Ifueko, good morning. It's good to see you. Hope you had a great weekend.
Yes, I did. I hope you did as well. Good morning.
Well, I did. But then the FX market will be in play this week as we look at a very heavy week on the debt market. So, where is the FX play in this week's fixed income and debt market?
Okay, so essentially, over the past 2 weeks, we've seen improved turnover in the iron market. I think about 2 weeks ago, we saw about a turnover of 1.7 billion, and last week we saw a turnover of 1.2 billion, and this is attributed to international investment flows. Essentially, we saw FPI move into the system for to invest in the fixed income space. So this week, I mean, it's the start of the week, so we'll see what their direction is. For the T-bills market, as it's largely driven by liquidity, so it will depend largely also on what the what CBN is like, how aggressive CBN is likely to go on the OMO auctions, which will give us direction as to where yields could go. For the bonds market, the Q1 calendar is out and there's a bond auction this week. And what we've seen since the release of the auction calendar is that we've seen a bearish trend. We also expect that bearish streak to be sustained this week towards the auction as market players are trying to sell, to accommodate purchasing at the auction.
Okay. Are we seeing some significant dollar movement? Are folks hedging? Are folks buying up the dollar ahead of the elections? Tell us about what investors' behavior are as we speak when in relation to the currencies market in particular.
Okay, so I mean, it's an interesting time, and it's a time a lot of market players typically look forward to see how the market will play out because of the elections. Well, I would say in summary, it's been pretty calm. I mean, even at a time like this, we're still seeing international flows into the market. The official exchange rate is stable. If anything, we've seen an appreciation in the I&E space. At the start of the year, we saw rates peak at 365. Currently, they are at 362.5 levels. Even in the parallel market as well, we're seeing rates at 363 for cash and 366 for transfer. So there isn't anything at the moment that should cause any form of panic. I mean, currently the financial markets are calm, regardless of whatever is happening in the political climate. But then I think this will be sustained because the CBN is well prepared for this, especially with the reserves at still upwards, northwards at 40.
Ifueko Lotu, thank you very much. I just don't want any further storm in my teacup. Have a great day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
From Access Bank, and of course that's from FMDQ Exchange Place. But let's check with the customs rates. Sometimes the stock market has its own mind and how it behaves. Temple Ashaji is the one checking in on that for us from the Nigerian Stock Exchange trading floor. Temple, I'm almost done with this cup of tea. I don't want any storm in my teacup. What's it all about this morning? The first 1 hour of trading, bring us up to speed.
We're seeing the first 1 hour of trading in red at the moment, down some 33 basis points. You know that last week, the week-on-week performance we saw was that of the month-to-date performance or month-to-date losses trimming down to a flat zone, some 0.01%. With the kind of performance we're seeing this morning, it has expanded the month-to-date or what you call the year-to-date losses by some percentage points further. And if you look at the sectoral behavior, borrowing your terms, last week we saw the banking segment doing some 7% plus for week-on-week performance. The losses that we're seeing in the market at this time are basically all on the banking names. If you look at the banking names at this point, Zenith Bank is down by more than 4%. Access Bank, which was even maintaining some kind of rally last week, in early trades today we've seen it down some 4.62%. And if you look at Diamond Bank as well, it's down some 0.04%. Fidelity has lost the most in terms of percentage points, and that's down some 8%. Sterling Bank is also down by more than 7%. So all of the banking names that have gained and helped the market to really perform better last week are currently seeing losses. And the reason for that might be what we are hearing in the news, the fact that there's a kind of dissentment between the executive, the legislature, and of course the judiciary. That's the kind of sentiment we're seeing in early trades in the markets today. Foreign investors don't like this, and we know that foreign investors, international flows have been playing a key role in the market in recent time. So perhaps they are the ones currently moving out of the market. We'll check later in the day on the trading portal of the Nigerian Stock Exchange to see where these losses are pulling out from, Bosun.
Yes, at Tempo, as you put it, yes, investors don't like to be tossed around, as it were. Uncertainty is one thing the market does not tolerate, wherever it's coming from. But again, it's not surprising that the banks are the first line to get hit, because whatever happens, the banks are the ones who put oil in the wheel of every economy and the markets and investment. So we expect them to be the first set of stocks to be hit by this political cloud hanging over the markets, as it were. What else are you hearing? I'm sure some stockbrokers we're sure some brokers are already on the floor, and of course I know politics will be a major topic for discussion. This is the Monday after the weekend when all that happened at the political space.
So they're just saying that they are domestic investors. Usually politics come into play at seasons like this, electioneering periods, and of course the cloud eventually goes down. So they are not really willing to pull out at this time. For some people that are pulling out, it might be because they feel that after some 7 trading sessions of, or 5 trading sessions to 6 to 7 trading sessions of capital appreciation on some particular stocks, they might just want to take some profit and move on. But for now, nobody among the traders that we have on the floor here are selling down, and that's why we think that it is the international players, the foreign investors, that are the ones currently selling down in the markets. Because again, as you said, uncertainty is not something that they want. So for the domestic players here have seen lots of political events played out in this country historically. So this shouldn't be the first time that we'll be having political cloud, impacting on the market like this. It comes into play, and before you know it, it fizzles away. So it's not new to a lot of the retail players nor the domestic players, Bosun.
Okay, Temple Ashaju, thank you very much. We still have quite a number of hours before the end of today's trading at about 2:30 local time. Thank you very much, Temple Ashaju, keeping an eye on the market for us, our business correspondent. As you heard earlier, early within the first 1 hour of trading in the Nigerian stock market, composite index, what they call the general index or the Osher index, is down by 0.33%. Some of the bank names already in the negative territory. As you have heard there earlier, the market is trying to digest the CJN's Onnoghen's corruption, suspension and replacement saga, which is hanging over the investors and the market and brokers. We're starting the final trading week in January today. But of course, it's going to be a very business week. One of the top stories this week is that the Deloitte Nigeria's Nigeria Economic Forum conference is taking place in Lagos on Thursday. Is a big one because, as always, you have all the big names from the government side and the private sector attending. The Honorable Minister of Finance will be there, as well as the head of the budget, Ben Akabweze, as well as the chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service. All of that on Thursday for you. We're covering that for viewers here in Nigeria and around the world. Then, of course, today, right now as we speak, the Abuja Court is continuing its trial of a former House of Reps member, Farouk Lawan, in a case of $620,000, which was brought against him by the Nigerian authorities, which, of course, billionaire businessman Femi Otedola is continue with his testimony. He testified last November, and of course, this all boiled down to the issue around the food subsidy, which billionaire Femi Otedola in his last testimony says he hinted or he told the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, about it. But of course, he says the committee led by Farouk Lawan was involved in some of these allegations of corrupt practice. That's all for today. We'll follow all of that for you, and I will see you again tomorrow.